We shall now slide towards Who's Who. This popular segment is hosted by our popular host, Mr. Sonny Segal. Mr. Segal is the CIO of Montgomery County, Maryland. This week, Mr. Segal brings alongside him a locally known actor, Mr. Vikrum Mathur. Let's catch their dialogue.
Welcome to the Who's Who show. This is your host, Sonny Segal. Today, my guest is Mr. Vikrum Mathur. Vikrum is a theater personality as well as a film actor here in the Washington, D.C. region. Actually, Vikrum is quite a role model for all of us who ever wanted to be on stage. Now, strangely, Vikrum is actually born and raised here in the United States. However, his command of theater and the Indian language, and of course the English language, is phenomenal. I recently happened to be in the audience where Vikrum was the male lead. The name of the play was Gudge, Foot, Inch. It was a wonderful experience. Let's welcome Vikrum to the show. Vikrum,
thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So this is really a treat for me to have you here, having seen you on stage for 2 hours in Gudge, Foot, Inch.
Thank you.
And you, of course, masterfully delivered the material.
Thank you.
One of the striking facts of the script in that play was the fact that the Hindi that was being used was not the ordinary Hindi. It was actually from a part of India where I grew up. And so I always thought that to be somewhat of a difficult mastery, but you delivered flawlessly.
Thank you.
Now, for the sake of our audience, of course, all the aspiring actors, you know, I want to know, at what age did you start your acting career?
I started acting when I was 3 years old. My mother encouraged me to participate in one of the local holy functions. I was with some other children, 10, 12 years old. I was the youngest, and I had 3 lines in Hindi as Lord Ganesh, and I went on stage. I said them without any issue, and that began this journey.
Wow, that is a very young age, at the age of 3. To be on the, and you were not at all frightened. Obviously, you were very comfortable there.
I don't have exactly a firm recollection, but the videos have showed that I just went on and did it, remembered all the lines, and there was no issue.
Mm-hmm,
I don't recall doing any sort of tantrums at that age.
So was there a mentor? That was the opportunity that put you on stage the first time.
Right. Yeah, that was the first time I went on stage, but my real interest in acting began in 4th grade. I've always been a huge Bollywood movie lover. So I used to watch movies and I used to really enjoy watching all the different actors, and I thought, hey, this might be a fun thing to take part of. I also wasn't very athletic. So this was the other alternative. But there hasn't been one particular mentor. I've, starting from my elementary, middle, high school drama teachers to a lot of the local theater artists, to Mr. Amol Palekar and his wife, Mrs. Sandhya Gokhale, I've learned tremendously over the years from all these people. So there's not one mentor. There's many people who I've drawn inspiration from.
Mm-hmm. So there have been role models, so to speak.
Absolutely.
Yes, and of course those are big names that you just mentioned. As I already said, and I don't mind repeating, that your performance in Gudge, Foot, Inch was remarkable.
Thank you.
Are there other productions that you've been in. Can you tell us which other productions?
I joined Natya Bharati in the year 2004. The bulk of my theatrical experiences have been through that. So I started with a play called Na Idhar Ke Na Udhar Ke, which was adapted and written by Miss Sudha Chopra, a well-known theater and film personality from India. So that marked my debut. It was about an Indian family living in the US and the kind of issues that the children face growing up as Indian Americans and as Americans. I did a play in 2009, which was directed by Mr. Umesh Agnihotri, called Jisne Lahore Nahi Dekha at the Kennedy Center, about partition. I acted in a film called Tacoma Park in 2008, which was screened at the Tribeca Film Festival in New York. I hosted Darshan TV from 2009 to 2012. Probably one of the most exciting acting opportunities I got was Mr. Amol Palekar's wife, Mrs. Sandhya Gokhale, directed me in a play called Khidkiyan, which was a really unique play because it was a two-character play about the relationship between a grandson and his grandmother, and the grandmother is suffering from Alzheimer's. So it was a very serious, dramatic, touching piece with a series of monologues for each character. So the two characters never actually interacted till the end, but they laid out their feelings throughout. And then from there now to Gaj Foot Inch. And one more project that I just remembered is I did a TV pilot called Sherlock Sai with Pooja Batra, a well-known Bollywood actress in Miss India from 1993. Yeah.
So are these performances available to the public to view?
Most of them are not publicly available, but my film Tacoma Park is online on Vimeo.com. So if folks go there and they search Tacoma Park short film, or if they Google it, they can find it. There are some clips from Khidkiyan online as well, but widely the works are not available online.
I see, because of their proprietary nature,
of the proprietary
I assume.
Nature,
yes, because there are the playwrights, right?
Right.
Then there are all the direction and how it
and sometimes we also do multiple shows, so we don't like to reveal the whole show prior to completing that term. So,
is it fair to talk about the kind of preparation that goes into doing a play like that?
Sure. This, I would say, was my most challenging role that I've done, even more challenging than the dramatic role I did in Khidkiyan, because this character was far different than what I am. Up till now, I've played characters that are similar to me in some ways, but this was completely different. I had to speak like I was a child. I had to have a certain walk, a certain look. We started preparing for this in November. We started with readings, and then every single weekend we got together and we rehearsed for many hours, and we eventually were able to bring it to a level that the audience liked. But there was a lot of preparation involved, a lot of memorization. As you mentioned, there's a lot of dialects, a lot of references to things which I didn't know, something new that I learned every time. I learned a lot about clothing. During the course of that.
All the wardrobe was really very good, very well done too, and so of course was all the lighting and direction.
Thank you. The credit for that goes entirely to our director, Mr. Goldi Manocha. He's been acting in plays in the area for many years, and he's so passionate and so creative that he took the script to a whole nother level, because a lot of things that we put in were improvisations. The script is written one way, but we would often think how we can make it better. And one of Mr. Manocha's big things is how to add more flavor to the script and to the play, and really make it more enjoyable. Because it was written, I believe, in the 70s, if I'm not mistaken.
I see.
So to bring it to a modern audience required some tweaking, and I think we were able to do that.
Well, I'll have to say, Mr. Manocha did all the right tweaks.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. The memorization, is that a quality you already have? You can memorize 2 hours since you were the male lead.
Yeah, it was different. It was different this time because this was the biggest role that I've had, where I was in every single scene, and there was such a wide range of emotions. And it's tricky because first you memorize the lines, then you have to figure out how you're going to bring the right emotion to it. So if you have 2 or 3 sentences, you can't just say it in one tone. You have to bring a different tone to each one.
The inflections.
To make it inflection, to make it sound more interesting. And all of those smaller nuances really add to the character. So that was tricky. It was tricky to memorize, and it was tricky to bring the emotion to it, and then add the movements to it, when you're going to do what. Right. So it's a 3-tier process, which required a lot.
And it's a gradual refinement.
Gradual refinement.
To curtain, almost to curtain. Or
right. Sometimes improvisations happen on stage itself, and I'm sure we all did that. Because the thing is, you memorize it, you get it on the floor, but then once you reach a level where you're comfortable, then our director encouraged us to continue to improve, continue to add more to your character, just take it to a level which is amazing. So yeah, it's a continuous process, which goes right up through the performance.
I see. So you're, for a while, of course, just learning to be the character that you're being cast in, right?
Right.
And then, of course, you start living it.
Right. And it's interesting that you mentioned that, because this was the first character that I've done where my biggest fear is that in real life I would start blending the things together. I would often go to my office, and sometimes I'd be subconsciously doing certain things. I'm like, wait, that's not me. That's my character Tillu. Yeah. So it would be something that would be in my mind constantly. So that's the first time I experienced that. So the definition of living the character became a whole lot more clear to me after doing this play.
And you know that now I'm picturing that your pursuit of a career outside of your acting career is very different.
It's very different.
So when you say that you may be at work, but yes, acting like your role, Tillu in this case, I'm thinking that you are, say, legislative director in the General Assembly in the House of Delegates, or now as you are in local government, a legislative aide and advisor to Council Member Roger Berliner. So having the two cross over, and subconsciously,
it's dangerous. It's dangerous to have that mixing of with the character. It was dangerous to have that try to come into the office when you're doing such serious and good work in the political sphere. Yes, you have to maintain distinct relations with both of the interests.
Yeah, you almost have to pinch yourself.
You have to pinch yourself,
right?
Exactly, exactly.
What are your plans going forward now?
Well, acting-wise, I plan on continuing to do acting as a hobby. But if professional opportunities do come up, I'd be more than happy to consider them. In the immediate future, we're looking at the option of doing more shows of Gaj footage, maybe more locally, possibly also some on the road, because of the good response that we've gotten. So that, acting-wise, that's in the immediate future. And professionally, I'm enjoying my time as legislative aide to Councilmember Berliner, and I'm learning tremendously about policy, and I'm in a happy space there.
Yeah, there too, and you've, of course, been at the state level.
Yes, I was in the state level.
You are now at the local level.
Now at the local level,
and some of the very legislators that you're working with will, of course, go on to hold higher office. And yourself, perhaps, may run for office one day. We need good representation.
Maybe.
So this, and then we'll be tracking you, of course, even on the road. So thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
It's been my honor.
Do make sure and let me know when the next show is on.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you. This is your host, Sonny Segal, signing off from the Who's Who show on the Capitol Forum. I look forward to seeing you again next month at the same place and the same time.